Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ever imagine like turning your LinkedIn connections, into loyal clients, not just followers.
Right.
Even if you only have like 1,000 connections.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're unpacking marketing consultant 𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀's revenue like clockwork approach to trust-based selling on LinkedIn. Specifically, how to turn even a small, carefully cultivated following into a sustainable source of clients. So if you're a solopreneur freelancer or anyone looking to leverage LinkedIn for genuine business growth, this is your roadmap to ditching those get followers fast schemes and focusing on building authentic, profitable relationships.
What I find fascinating about 𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀's approach is that he challenges that common misconception that more followers automatically translates to more sales.
Right.
He really zeroes in on the quality of your connections over quantity, which is especially relevant for solopreneurs who don't necessarily need a massive audience.
Totally. It's about attracting the right followers, those who genuinely need what you offer.
Exactly.
So instead of interrupting everyone's feed, you're aligning yourself with the needs and interests of your ideal clients.
𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 advocates for something he calls joining the conversation.
Okay.
It's about becoming a part of the thought patterns your ideal clients are already engaging in.
I see.
So imagine your ideal client is already discussing a problem that your service solves. You contribute to that existing conversation instead of trying to pull them away to something new.
It's like contributing to a podcast discussion rather than just shouting from the rooftops.
Exactly.
You wouldn't barge into a podcast studio and start talking about something completely unrelated, would you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why 𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 suggests engaging with your ideal client's content.
Okay.
Before even thinking about posting your own.
Interesting.
It's a subtle but powerful shift in mindset.
Okay, so instead of broadcasting your message to everyone, you're strategically targeting your ideal client.
Yeah.
And joining discussions they're already having.
You got it.
Got it.
By genuinely engaging with their posts, leaving thoughtful comments, asking insightful questions, you lay the groundwork for building relationships and trust.
So it's not about interrupting. It's about integrating yourself into their world.
Yes.
So how does this all translate into sales?
Right.
That's where the trust-based selling comes in, right?
𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 cleverly reframes selling as building trust.
Okay.
He recognizes that many solopreneurs, especially creative types, hate the idea of selling.
Well, tell me about it.
Because it often feels pushy or manipulative.
I cringe at the thought of those aggressive sales tactics.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels so inauthentic.
Totally.
𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 argues that if you hate selling, what you actually hate is the idea of having to force trust or manipulate people.
That reframing is brilliant.
It is.
So how does 𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 suggest building that trust?
He outlines 8 distinct stages of business development. Okay. He groups the first 3, the ones most relevant to solopreneurs, in a way that highlights the importance of trust at each level.
Okay, let's break down these first 3 stages.
Okay.
The first stage is what he calls the executive freelancer phase.
Okay.
This is all about establishing a foundation of trust through transparency and reliability. It's about under-promising and over-delivering.
Makes sense. By setting realistic expectations and exceeding them, you build credibility from the get-go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀 actually shares a story about taking on a project early in his career. He was upfront with the client about the possibility of needing a slight extension on the deadline.
Okay.
But he ended up finishing the project ahead of schedule and exceeding expectations.
I bet the client was thrilled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being honest and transparent probably earned him more respect than if he'd pretended he could magically meet an unrealistic deadline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It set the stage for a strong, trusting relationship. Okay, I'm sold on the executive freelancer approach.
Right.
What's next?
As you gain experience and move into solopreneurship, 𝘁𝗵𝗂𝘀𝘀 emphasizes trust productization.
Trust productization.
Essentially, it's about incorporating that hard-earned trust into how you package and present your services. Think of it like this.
Yeah.
When you see a product on a shelf, you inherently trust it's going to work as advertised, right?
Yes. There's an implied guarantee based on the brand's reputation and the product's packaging.
Right.
So how do we productize trust when we're selling services?
By creating standardized, repeatable offerings.
Okay.
Instead of vague, contact us for a quote, you create packages like the website audit power-up or the social media starter kit, clearly outlining deliverables and pricing.
Okay.
This takes the guesswork out of it for clients.
It builds trust by making the entire process transparent and professional.
Yes.
Clients know exactly what they're getting and how much it costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It also helps you scale your business because you're not just trading time for money anymore. You can create systems and processes to deliver these productized services more efficiently.
Okay, so we've gone from building a foundation of trust as a freelancer to packaging our expertise as a solopreneur.
Yes.
What happens in the third stage?
The third stage, entrepreneurship, is where you start to build out your team.
Okay.
You can't do everything yourself if you want to grow sustainably.
Right.
And you need to delegate tasks and empower others to represent your brand.
This is where hiring becomes crucial.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding people with the right skills. It's about finding people who embody your brand's values, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Munoz stresses that hiring for values is just as important as hiring for skills. He shares an anecdote about having to let go of a highly skilled employee because their communication style and work ethic didn't align with his company's values of transparency and integrity.
That must have been a tough decision.
Yeah.
But it highlights how crucial it is to protect your brand.
Yeah.
And maintain that trust with clients.
It was a difficult choice, but he recognized that compromising on values would erode the trust he'd worked so hard to build.
Yeah.
A team that reflects your values will naturally represent your brand in a more authentic and trustworthy way.
Okay, so we've got these three stages: executive freelancers, solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, all connected by this thread of building trust and delivering value.
Yes.
I love how it's not about achieving a certain revenue target or hitting a specific follower count.
Right.
It's about cultivating a culture of trust that permeates everything you do.
And Munoz doesn't stop there. He also identifies 5 additional elements that are essential for building trust, regardless of what stage your business is in.
Got it.
These elements act as a framework for sustainable growth, supporting your business at every level.
I'm all ears. Bring on the 5 elements.
Well, first up is building long-term relationships. Munoz emphasizes that trust is the glue that keeps clients coming back and referring others to you.
That resonates with my experience. It's so much easier to work with someone you already trust than to constantly be starting from scratch with new clients.
Exactly. Yeah. But in a world obsessed with quick transactions and superficial connections, how do we actually build those long-term trust-based relationships?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
What does Munoz suggest?
He recommends going beyond transactional interactions. He suggests remembering birthdays, checking in after projects, and even sending handwritten thank you notes.
Those small gestures can make a big difference. It's about treating clients like humans, not just transactions.
Precisely.
Right.
And those seemingly small acts of kindness go a long way in solidifying relationships and demonstrating genuine care.
I'm already starting to see how this approach could transform my business. What's the next element in this trust-building framework?
Next up is transparency. Munoz sees it as a crucial bridge between information and trust.
He argues that if your sales process feels shrouded in mystery or manipulative, it erodes trust.
I've definitely encountered that.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating when businesses play the contact us for a quote game.
I know.
It makes me feel like they're hiding something or that they're going to try to overcharge me.
It's a major turnoff for a lot of people.
Yes.
Transparency is about being upfront about your pricing, your process, and your expectations. Munoz practices what he preaches. He actually lists his pricing openly on his website.
Wow. He doesn't even make potential clients jump through hoops to get a quote.
Nope. He believes that being upfront about pricing shows respect for the client's time.
Yeah.
And builds trust from the start.
That's amazing.
It also helps him attract the right clients, those who value transparency and are comfortable with his pricing structure.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing.
It is.
What's next on this trust-building checklist?
Managing expectations. It's all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
You need to demonstrate commitment through your actions.
So it's not enough to say you're reliable and trustworthy. You have to actually be reliable and trustworthy.
Exactly. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if something unexpected comes up, communicate clearly and proactively. Don't leave your clients in the dark.
It's about being accountable and owning up to your mistakes.
You got it.
Yeah.
That level of honesty and transparency is what builds trust over time.
This is all gold.
It is.
What's the next element?
This one's non-negotiable ethical business practices.
Ethics.
Yeah.
That seems pretty straightforward. Isn't that just basic common sense in business?
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But it's worth emphasizing because it truly is the foundation of everything we've been talking about.
Right.
You can't cut corners, mislead clients, or engage in shady practices.
Right.
And expect to build lasting trust.
It's like building a house on a shaky foundation. It's just not going to last.
Exactly. Without ethics, all the other trust-building efforts crumble.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready for the final element. What is it?
Always focus on customer needs.
Okay.
It might seem a bit redundant, given how much we've already talked about client focus.
Right.
But he gives it its own special call out.
Yeah.
It's the backbone of trust in every stage of business.
I think it's smart to reiterate that point because it's so easy to get caught up in our own goals and forget that it's not actually about us. It's about serving our clients and helping them succeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need that reminder to shift the focus back to where it belongs on the client's needs.
Right.
Munoz tells a story about turning down a potential client because he realized his services weren't a good fit for their needs.
He turned down a client that seems counterintuitive, especially for a solopreneur.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But by prioritizing the client's needs over making a quick buck, he demonstrated integrity and earned a valuable referral to a client who was a perfect match.
That's a powerful example of how putting the client first, even when it means potentially losing money, can actually lead to greater rewards in the long run. It all comes back to trust.
Exactly. Clients appreciate authenticity, and they can spot a phony a mile away.
Yeah.
These 5 elements, building long-term relationships, transparency, managing expectations, ethical business practices, and focusing on customer needs, work hand in hand with those 3 stages of business development to create a sustainable framework for growth. It's not just about hitting milestones or chasing metrics. It's about embodying these principles in every aspect of your business.
I love this framework. It's so practical and actionable. But I'm curious, how does Munoz suggest applying all of this to LinkedIn specifically?
Okay.
What are some tangible steps we can take to start building trust and attracting the right clients on the platform?
He calls it flipping the script.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on publishing your own content right away, he recommends engaging with potential clients' content first.
That sounds familiar. It's like what we discussed earlier, joining the conversation instead of interrupting it, right?
Yeah.
You got it. It all starts with identifying your ideal clients on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Consider their industry, their job title, their interests, and their pain points. Then search for people who match that profile.
Okay, so I found some potential clients who seem like a good fit. What's next? Do I just like all their posts and leave generic comments?
Not quite.
Okay.
Remember, we're building trust here, not just trying to get our names in front of them.
Yeah.
Munoz emphasizes the importance of crafting high-quality comments and questions.
Okay.
That show you've actually taken the time to engage with their content.
So no more great post. Or love this comments.
Those are fine every now and then.
Okay.
But if you really want to stand out and make a genuine connection, you need to go deeper.
Okay, give me some examples. How do I create those high-quality comments that build trust?
Let's say you're a marketing consultant.
And you come across a post from a potential client who's struggling with their social media strategy.
Yeah.
Instead of just liking the post, you could share a specific tip or resource that might be helpful to them.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Or I could ask a question that encourages them to elaborate on their challenges or goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key is to show that you're not just skimming their content.
Right.
You're genuinely interested in what they have to say, and you have something valuable to contribute.
It's about adding value, not just making noise.
Exactly. And once you've made that initial connection through a thoughtful comment or question, don't be afraid to take the conversation offline. Send a personalized connection request.
Okay.
Mention something specific from their post that resonated with you, and continue the dialogue.
So I shouldn't bombard them with sales pitches right away.
Definitely not.
Okay.
This is about nurturing the relationship and building trust over time.
Right.
Think of it like planting a seed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't yank a sprout out of the ground to see if it's growing, would you?
Okay, I understand the analogy, but I have a confession. I'm terrible at remembering to engage with people's content consistently.
I hear you.
It's so easy to get caught up in my own to-do list.
It's a common challenge.
Yeah.
That's why Munoz recommends setting aside dedicated time each week for LinkedIn engagement. Put it on your calendar, just like you would any other important appointment.
That's a great idea. I like to think of it as scheduling a LinkedIn coffee chat with myself.
I like it.
What are some other practical tips for staying consistent with this approach?
Create a list of your ideal clients on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And make it a habit to check their profiles regularly.
So it's like having a VIP client list on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
I like that.
This way you can quickly see who's posted something new and jump into those conversations.
Okay.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
That's so helpful. I'm also curious, what if someone posts something I strongly disagree with? Should I still engage?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really depends on the context and your comfort level.
Okay.
If it's a topic you feel strongly about, and you can offer a respectful, constructive counterpoint, go for it. But remember, the goal here is to build trust, not to start an argument.
Right. It's about adding value, not picking fights.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the tone of the original post. If it's a heated debate or something inflammatory, I'd probably just scroll on by.
I agree. It's not worth jeopardizing those relationships over a difference of opinion.
Right.
You can always focus your energy on engaging with posts you do agree with.
Yeah.
And offering a supportive comment or question.
That's a good point. Sometimes the most powerful connections are built on shared values and perspectives. Okay, so we've talked about identifying potential clients and engaging with their content.
Yes.
What's the next step in this LinkedIn trust building journey?
Once you establish those initial connections, it's time to start building a stronger foundation of trust by demonstrating your expertise and providing value.
Okay, so how do I do that on LinkedIn? Is it just about posting a bunch of articles and updates about my services?
It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Remember, we're still focusing on building relationships, not just blasting people with self-promotion.
Right. It's not about shouting, hey, look at me. I'm great at what I do. Hire me.
Think about the conversations you've been having with those potential clients. What challenges are they facing? What goals are they trying to achieve? Then create content that addresses those needs and provides valuable insights or solutions.
So it's about positioning myself as a resource, a problem solver, not just a salesperson. You got it. When you generously share your expertise and knowledge, you demonstrate your value and build trust in an authentic way. I love that it's about becoming a trusted advisor for your network. What are some specific types of content I can create to showcase my expertise on LinkedIn?
The possibilities are endless. You could share tips and advice related to your industry, post case studies or client testimonials that highlight your successes. Offer free resources like checklists or templates that provide value to your target audience. The key is to create content that's helpful, insightful, and relevant to the people you're trying to reach.
Those are all great ideas, and they all position you as someone who's knowledgeable and helpful, not just someone who's trying to make a sale.
Exactly. It's about establishing your credibility. And building that, and trust factor. That's so essential for attracting clients.
Okay, so I'm creating content that's valuable and relevant to my ideal clients. Anything else I should keep in mind?
Consistency is key. Just like with engaging with other people's content, you need to show up regularly and share your expertise consistently.
So it's not a one and done kind of thing.
Nope. Building a presence on LinkedIn takes time and effort. Aim to post at least a few times a week. Whether it's an original article, a quick tip, or a thought-provoking question.
I'm hearing you, but consistency is definitely something I struggle with.
I hear that.
Do you have any tips for staying on track?
Create a content calendar. Plan out your topics in advance, block off time for writing or creating videos, and batch your content creation. So you're not starting from scratch every time.
That's a great idea. It feels less overwhelming when I break it down like that.
It is.
And remember, quality trumps quantity. It's better to post one really insightful article than a bunch of mediocre content just to fill my feed.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm sold on the value of consistency. What else should I be doing to build trust and attract the right clients on LinkedIn?
Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date and professional. It's the first impression people will have of you.
So it needs to accurately reflect your expertise and your brand.
It's like my digital storefront.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about listing your skills and experience.
Yeah.
It's about telling your story and connecting with people on a human level.
So inject some personality into that profile.
Yes. Use your headline to showcase your unique value proposition.
Okay.
Write a compelling summary that highlights your passion and expertise.
Okay.
And don't forget visuals.
Right.
Images and videos can make your profile more engaging.
Those are great tips. It's a good reminder that our LinkedIn profiles are more than just online resumes.
They are.
They're an opportunity to connect with people authentically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've polished my profile. I'm engaging with content. And I'm sharing my expertise consistently.
Yes.
I'm feeling good, but I have a confession.
Right.
I still get a little nervous about actually reaching out to potential clients and making those initial connections.
That's totally understandable. It can feel a bit scary to put yourself out there, especially on a professional platform like LinkedIn.
It can.
So how do I overcome that fear and start building those relationships? It feels so awkward sometimes.
Remember that those connections are the foundation of everything we've been talking about.
Okay.
Building trust, demonstrating expertise. And the good news is that LinkedIn provides a built-in framework for making those connections in a way that feels natural and authentic.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more about this magical framework.
The most important thing to remember is that you're not cold calling people or sending out generic spam messages.
Right.
You're reaching out to individuals you've already identified as potential clients.
Okay.
People you've engaged with, whose content you've commented on, whose work you admire.
So it's not about randomly messaging people and hoping they'll be interested in what I have to offer.
I think of it as continuing a conversation you've already started, not barging in with an unsolicited sales pitch.
That's a much less intimidating way to think about it.
It is.
Okay, I'm ready to reach out. What's the best way to do it?
Always personalize your message.
Okay.
Don't just send a generic connection request.
Right.
Mention something specific that you found interesting or valuable about their work.
Right.
Highlight a shared connection or interest.
Okay.
Ask a thought-provoking question that encourages them to engage with you.
So it's all about being genuine and showing that I've actually taken the time to learn about them and their work.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating that you're looking to build a genuine connection, not just make a sale.
I like that it feels much more aligned with the whole trust-based approach we've been discussing. Any other tips for making those initial connections?
Don't be afraid to share a bit about yourself and your work.
So it's not just about complimenting them. It's about finding common ground and sparking a conversation.
Precisely. If you're still feeling nervous, just remember that most people on LinkedIn are open to making new connections, especially if it's clear that you're not just spamming them.
That makes me feel better. It's a good reminder that we're all just people trying to build relationships and grow our businesses.
Exactly. And the more authentic you are in your approach, the more likely you are to make those meaningful connections that lead to success.
Okay. I'm feeling pumped to start reaching out, but what happens next? Let's say someone accepts my connection request.
Okay.
What are some effective ways to nurture that relationship and move it forward?
That's a great question. And that's where things get really exciting.
Okay.
Because once you've made those initial connections, you can start leveraging LinkedIn's powerful tools and features to build even stronger relationships, showcase your expertise, and ultimately generate leads for your business.
Okay, this is getting good. I'm ready to unlock the full potential of LinkedIn. What are these magical tools and features we'll be exploring? So we've covered a lot of ground, from identifying ideal clients and crafting engaging comments to creating high-quality content and optimizing our profiles. What I'm really curious about now is how do we actually turn those connections into clients?
Right.
We've built relationships, showcased our expertise, and planted those seeds.
Yes.
How do we nurture them into paying clients?
Well, one of the most effective ways to nurture those relationships is by leveraging LinkedIn's messaging feature.
You mean that little inbox icon I tend to ignore? I'm more of a posting ghost kind of person.
Don't underestimate the power of that inbox.
Okay.
It's a gold mine for having those one-on-one conversations that can turn connections into clients.
Okay.
It allows you to build deeper relationships and create more personalized interactions.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but I have to admit, I'm always hesitant to send messages on LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
It feels kind of like walking up to a stranger at a networking event.
Yeah.
And launching into a sales pitch.
I get it.
Yeah.
But remember, we're not talking about cold messaging people out of the blue.
Right.
We're reaching out to people we've already connected with,
Yeah.
folks we've engaged with whose content we've commented on.
Right.
We've laid the groundwork for a conversation.
So it's more like continuing a conversation we've already started, not interrupting someone with a sales pitch.
Exactly.
That does feel less intrusive. Okay, what's the best way to approach those messages?
Just like with those initial connection requests, personalization is key. Don't send generic one-size-fits-all messages.
Right.
No copying and pasting.
Yeah.
Take the time to review their profile.
Oh.
Remind yourself of your previous interactions and tailor your message to their specific needs and interests.
Okay, so I'm looking at their profile and reminding myself of our shared interests. What should I actually say in these messages?
Be clear about your intentions.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to express your interest in working together
Mm-hmm.
or learning more about their business.
Okay.
But remember, it's not about launching into a hard sell.
Right. I don't want to scare them away with a pushy sales pitch.
Exactly. You could say something like, I've been really impressed with your work in their area of expertise.
Okay.
I'd love to learn more about your company and explore potential opportunities to collaborate.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's direct, but not aggressive.
Right.
It opens the door for conversation without any pressure.
Yeah.
So much better than, hey, want to buy my services?
Right. It's all about respecting their time and boundaries.
Yeah.
If they're interested, they'll let you know.
This is all making so much sense. I'm starting to see how LinkedIn messaging can be a powerful tool for building relationships and generating leads.
It is.
But what if I want to go beyond those one-on-one conversations and reach a wider audience? Are there other strategies we can use?
Absolutely. Remember all that amazing content we talked about creating earlier?
Yes.
LinkedIn's content creation features are where your expertise really shines.
Right.
By consistently creating high-quality content that resonates with your ideal clients.
Yeah.
You position yourself as a thought leader.
It's like building a reputation as the go-to expert in your field.
Yeah.
People see you sharing valuable insights and they think, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. Maybe they can help me.
Exactly. People are more likely to do business with someone they see as an expert and a trusted resource.
So I'm creating awesome content. I'm sharing it on LinkedIn. But how do I make sure it's seen by the right people?
Right.
I feel like my posts sometimes get lost in the sea of content.
That's where a few of LinkedIn's lesser-known features come in handy.
Okay.
First up, use relevant hashtags in your posts.
Wait, hashtags aren't those just for Instagram and TikTok?
They're incredibly useful on LinkedIn, too.
Oh, okay.
When you use relevant hashtags, you make it easier for people searching for those topics to find your content.
Okay.
Think about the keywords your ideal client would be searching for and use those as hashtags.
So if I'm writing about content marketing, I might use hashtags like hashtag content marketing, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag marketing tip.
You got to... LinkedIn even suggests relevant hashtags as you're typing, which is super helpful.
That's a great tip. What else can we do to boost the visibility of our content?
Don't forget to tag other users in your posts.
Okay.
It's a great way to get your content in front of a wider audience, especially if you tag people you admire, want to collaborate with, or whose work relates to your post.
So if I write an article about productivity tips for freelancers, I could tag some productivity experts or some popular freelance platforms.
Exactly. When you tag someone, they get a notification.
Right.
So it's a great way to get their attention.
Okay.
And if they share your post with their network, it can significantly expand your reach.
It's like a more personal way to get your content seen by the right people. What other LinkedIn secrets can you share?
LinkedIn groups are often overlooked.
Oh, yeah.
But they can be incredible for connecting with like-minded people, building relationships, and generating leads.
I've joined a few groups, but I've never really used them strategically. How can I use them more effectively?
Start by joining groups relevant to your industry or niche.
Okay.
If you're a freelance writer, you might join groups for writers, content creators, or businesses looking for writers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What should I do once I've joined these groups?
Engage, participate in discussions.
Okay.
Answer questions, share your own insights and experiences.
Okay.
Be a valuable member of the community.
It's not about spamming the group with self-promotion, right?
Exactly. When you consistently provide value in groups, people start to see you as a trusted resource.
It's like targeted networking. You're connecting with people already interested in what you offer.
That's the beauty of it. And because you're building relationships organically, it feels much less salesy.
This whole conversation has been a game changer for me. I never realized how much potential LinkedIn has for building a thriving business.
It really is a powerful platform, and the best part is it's constantly evolving with new features being added all the time.
It sounds like it's worth experimenting to find what works best for our individual businesses and niches.
Absolutely. And remember, the key to success on LinkedIn, just like with any form of marketing, is to be genuine and authentic in your approach.
Yeah.
It's about building those long-term relationships and providing value.
So much of what we've discussed today comes back to that foundation of trust. Building a business based on trust just feels so much more sustainable and fulfilling than chasing quick wins or resorting to those sleazy marketing tactics.
I couldn't agree more. It's about building a business you're proud of.
Yeah.
A business that attracts clients who value your expertise and who trust you to help them succeed.
This has been incredibly insightful for our listeners who are ready to ditch those outdated marketing tactics and build a business on LinkedIn based on trust and genuine connection.
Right.
What's the one piece of advice you'd leave them with?
Remember that trust is the foundation of everything. Every interaction, every piece of content you create, every connection you make should be about building and nurturing trust.
Yes.
When you approach LinkedIn with that mindset, you'll be amazed by what you can achieve.
Beautifully said. So for our listeners, go forth and build those trust-based empires, one connection at a time. Until next time.